So, I want to talk to you guys today about this trust thing. It just blew me away last week when I read that report. I shared a little bit of it with y'all last week in my blog, and I've just been chewing on it ever since. And it's interesting to me because I am so used to having a trust conversation, and I'm so used to having a trust conversation with my clients about their trust conversations. So, it was just a real shocker to get those stats thrown in my face. That said, I'm a human being and I'm an American and I'm not immune to the news or to uh, the friction that's going on culturally right now. And so, in a way, I'm not shocked. I guess I guess it hadn't occurred to me that it was so well rooted in trust. It makes perfect sense, but it just hadn't occurred to me. So I want to break that down a little bit. And so I want to ask you, as a leader of your department or a leader of your business, what is it that you are doing to help build trust with your people? Because this is not a simple conversation, right? This is complex. It's not complicated. There's a little bit of a difference there, but it is a very complex construct because trust evolves from little interactions that go on all day long. Like with most things human, it's not a one and done, right? It's an activity, it's an ongoing. One's opinions can change. Though the science is even more firm now that it takes a person 7 seconds to determine what they think of us, we still have the ability to influence that decision, and we have the influence to change our minds. So, how are you helping your people build trust amongst themselves, for themselves? In other words, so that they can show up and trust that they even have the courage to be okay saying something bold or daring or different or change making. How do you help support them, letting them know that you are there with your trust, willing to hear their interest in change making? And how do you encourage your team to do that for each other? I will give you a couple of hints. One of them is in embracing diversity, which again, not necessarily a lot of that happening right now. So, if I just lost you and you're just really mad at this whole conversation, I understand that. That's okay. Then this conversation isn't for you, and that's fine. But accepting and embracing diversity is what creates trust, because then it allows for someone to be different than yourself, which means it allows for someone to be themselves. Um, a couple of other things that you might want to consider in grappling with this whole trust thing. Uh, this is, of course, what's called one of those soft skills conversations, right? So I didn't bring a lot of tools to this. I really wanted to throw it off the cuff and let you guys just kind of stew on it, just like I have been. Um, so some other things that you can do to help encourage trust is to be vulnerable, right? Have conversations that share what's going on for you. Which is why I came today unscripted and tool free. I do have one little excerpt from someone one of the many things I've been watching over the last couple of weeks with this whole conversation rambling around in my head. And I thought she had some nice advice for some folks in a more corporate environment. And so I'm going to play that for y'all because that's not my arena and I didn't want to leave you guys out in the cold. But other than that, I'm winging it here. And so vulnerability is a really valuable tool because it helps people see and feel and understand that you're trusting them, right? You're being willing to maybe feel or look kind of silly or stupid. And that helps us learn to not just trust, but also to really embrace what we think we might be seeing or knowing about that person and their personality. So it not just builds trust, but it can often build some really solid layers in the foundation of mutual respect and or friendship, depending on the environment in which you're looking to accomplish. So those are just two hints I wanted to share with you. Now I'm going to play this video for you, and I'm going to actually have to go over here and enjoy.
Sometimes I get asked by corporate clients, people I've worked with who work inside a large organization, well, what do I do if my boss really doesn't want to hear my opinion, if that boss really doesn't trust me? And what I always ask first is, have you tried? Have you raised your hand in that meeting? Have you documented the questions that you have? Have you chased down the research? A lot of us are waiting for someone else to tell us that it's okay to do those things. And first, what we need to do is just start doing those things. And then I always feel like, well, that may not still work out, but at least I've done my bit. Back when I was working inside corporations, one of the things I used to notice is organizations used to say, we're never going to get that done. And I said, has someone put together a proposal for how that could get done? And people would be like, no, because it's never going to get done. And I'd be like, why don't we give people a chance to say no? Because that also means we give them a chance to say yes. And I'd put together the business case and go and lobby for it. And like 5 times out of 10, it actually became real and people were always shocked. And I'm like, yeah, because you never gave them a chance to say yes. You were just expected them to say no. And so figuring out how to raise your hand, say the thing that you're thinking, advocate for what it is you believe that's right. That's part of just you developing a muscle to say, I trust myself enough to try. And no matter what ends up happening, I can recover from it. I can learn from it and take it from here.
Okay, so I just really love that little tidbit. I hope that it brought something to light for you. That is, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, Nolifer Merchant. She has written 3 books. Actually, I don't know if her 3rd one is published yet. She's done a TED Talk, possibly 2. Just really smart together. She is a Silicon Valley consultant who obviously used to work in the corporate world. So I guess I'm going to wrap it up today. I just want to give you some food for thought. I'd love some comments or some feedback. Y'all tend to reach out to me in email pretty readily, but you're not so trusting on the page. So maybe this will inspire you to leave me some comments down below, something my audience doesn't tend to do. Okay, thank y'all so much. You are whole and perfect, just the way you are. Just got to be more out loud about it. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.